right, 3, 2, 1, and welcome back to another episode of Alex and Constantine's Reviews.
Today we're going to be reviewing the third season of Columbo. This is the third time that we've done one of these episodes, and we're happy to be back in the studio.
Yes, the outdoor studio is filmed in a secret location, somewhere in the West Coast. Right? Can we even divulge that? I mean, that's...
They'll find us eventually.
Yeah, I know. Triangulate.
Like
triangulate the signal.
Somewhere in the world.
Exactly. Alex, I thought this was the hardest one so far. And I okay, judging, because I've seen all of Columbo mostly, I think this is like the pinnacle. And you don't know that yet because you haven't seen any more, but better than 1 and 2, I think. What do you think?
If I'm being honest, I totally agree with you. Because this season was just a bunch of great episodes, like one after another.
Yeah, and it's just different settings. Like, he's hanging out with a robot. Some politician is doing something. He's got like a country singer. Like, all these like things, and it's
8 fantastic episodes in a row. So you can probably imagine how much more difficult this one was to rank.
Exactly.
Now. Funny thing about this one is actually the one me and Uncle Costa disagreed the most.
Yeah, that's right. This was we mostly agreed in the other ones. I think we kind of came to a pretty good end, and it could have gone either way. But this one, especially the number 1 spot, I had a much different opinion. I conceded, and Alex's pick at number 1, but I still think it's a great episode. So it's not that it's a bad episode. It's just that my personal favorite. So that's it. Oh, by the way, let me show you this. Brownie is a much bigger fan of Columbo than I thought. Look at this.
What is this?
I don't know. He's hanging out with Peter Falk for some reason.
That's interesting.
Whatever. All right, let's get started.
Well, let's get this started.
At number 8, and again, all great episodes.
Yeah, we can't stress this enough. People in the comment section, we would love to hear your opinions on our rankings.
Unless you disagree with us, then please just keep it to yourself.
Then,
I mean, really, nobody...
No one needs your opinion.
All right, number 8, Double Exposure. Double Exposure, that was the subliminal video guy thing.
Yeah, so it starts out with this guy who wants to kill another guy, average Columbo episode starter. So he comes in, and he gives him caviar, really salty caviar.
Right.
Sits him down in this theater to watch this thing that he's narrating over.
Right.
But he secretly puts like a tape over the narrator machine.
Right.
But also how it works is that there's subliminal messages, like for like a blink and
he
you'll
inserted clips, like little
things,
pictures.
Yeah, that your eyes can't even see, but your mind does.
Right.
So he goes and he's all thirsty because he's seeing pictures of deserts, and he just ate super salty caviar.
Right.
He goes down the hallway to get a drink, and that's your last drink ever in the world, buddy. And pow! Shoots him in the face.
Yeah, the guy set up the video, and he put these subliminal cuts. Now, great episode, of course. The guy, the film operator. Oh, by the way, a recurring theme of Columbo. If you try and bribe the murderer, you'll get killed.
Yeah,
it happens every time.
Yeah.
So the video, remember the projector guy tries to bribe the bad guy, and of course, dead men tell no tales.
Course,
he gets killed. To me, I mean, for a couple things on this, a great episode, of course, but for some reason, very forgettable. And I really can't explain what I mean by that, but it's like, it always took me a second to jog my memory. Like, what was that about? And I look at, read the description. Like, oh yeah.
Maybe it was forgettable because there were subliminal messages in it that were like people forgetting.
There you go. Exactly. And also, and I kind of had the other kind of had an issue that subliminal. Although I do believe the subliminal messages do do things, but like to actually make somebody get up and get water at a particular time, I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Lovely but Lethal.
Lovely but Lethal for number 7.
Number 7.
We got Lovely but Lethal. This is about a cosmetic person who is like trying to make a wrinkle-free formula that you like put on your body or whatever, and it makes those wrinkles disappear magically. Now, as you can see, I'm the one. I use that product. That's why I have.
Alex
is
actually 57 years old.
Yeah, I'm actually a million years old.
Good job.
I've just been living off of that substance. Now, apparently, some person who works with the guy who made the medicine thing was selling it to this other person so they can
The competition.
to the competition so they can get it out faster, and that's a big no-no.
Yeah.
To the
Well, he was selling to that guy. And I guess he really liked her, and she turned him down. And then he was like, "Well, I'm just gonna take this formula to somebody else." Good episode. I mean, it had Columbo itching his hand. Remember that? Or the poison ivy and all that jazz.
So yeah, the thing, the I keep forgetting what's called. The cosmetic actually has poison ivy in it, which I don't know.
No. It was poison ivy was in the same lab, and it got on the glass. It wasn't in the stuff.
Oh.
Something like that.
That makes sense. I was wondering how they even
something like
got
that.
past testing with poison ivy in the.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Okay, that
something
makes
like
more
that.
sense.
But it was, I think, a little bit of a slow episode.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit slow, but good. I mean, really good episode. How can you can't argue with that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mind Over Mayhem. I really like this one. Here's another weird one. You got Columbo with this robot out of Lost in Space or one of those shows. Like, what is going on here? Columbo, seriously, he's a detective.
Yeah, and he's just with this sci-fi guy. You want to explain this episode?
I'll try. So, I'm not going to explain the plot and everything, but what I really liked about it was the bad guy. He's like this, in charge of this think tank. He's like ordering generals around, and like he's on the phone, like he got on the phone with like the UN and all these. Like he's this really super powerful guy, like UN, like world guy. And here's Columbo, like kind of like busting him basically.
Face.
Yeah, like Columbo, like, and another thing is this think tank is all like brilliant people. And they all see Columbo and like, oh, rumpled jacket, rumpled face. This guy's, like you said, this guy's like he's probably, this dumb cop. What's he doing here? But then it's really cool because the acting is really good. Is that when Columbo starts to drop the clues or like saying, well, this and this, the main guy, he picks up. He's like, wait a minute, this cop is pretty smart.
He realizes that Columbo has a bigger brain than he once thought.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in the end, Columbo is smarter than anybody in that think tank.
Of course. The way this episode had such a good ending. The way Columbo gets the guy is that he frames his son. He made it look like his son committed the murder.
That's right.
And then while he was taking his son to jail, the guy was like, "Okay, fine, I did it. I'm the one.
Right.
I'm sorry. Don't let my son go to jail."
Right. His weakness. I mean, not a weakness, but I mean, Columbo was counting on him that he would be like a human being after all.
Yeah.
Like even though he killed somebody and he was really a very cold-hearted guy, he did love his kid.
Of course.
I mean, so that's how Columbo got him. He counted on the fact that if he pinned it on the kid, he would fess up, and he did.
Yes, he did.
Candidate for crime.
So this episode starts a politician,
Yep.
He's running for secretary or something.
He's senator.
Senator.
State senator. Yep.
So he has a wife.
U.S. senator.
He has a wife, but he also has a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And his director guy is like, "That's no good. You can't have a girlfriend. You're supposed to be happily married senator."
Yeah, it doesn't look good for the public if people find out. Nobody's going to vote for you.
Yeah, it's like, wow, you're dating someone else.
You're not a nice guy.
Yeah, that's not really cool, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So then the guy's like, well, if I can't date my girlfriend, you can't date your life, right? So then so then
zinger.
So it makes it seem like he goes, the guy, he dresses up the other guy in clothes that he's wearing.
That's right.
And they drive to his country town or whatever, and
That's
the
right.
guys that are hired to follow him, obviously.
Right.
That's their job.
Mm-hmm.
And they go there, and then the guy who kills him is already there and kills him.
Right.
And makes it seem like it was one of those people who were spreading rumors about him.
Exactly.
And that it thought
it's the mafia or something. Try to kill him.
Yeah.
Because he was gonna go be tough on crime or something like that.
Yeah.
But actually, it was him killing his manager, and guess who figured it out?
My man Columbo.
My man.
So they made it seem like the mafia guy just didn't remember what the senator looked like and then shot him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. But I mean, it was a pretty good plan, and I think the ending was great because remember the guy wanted the candidate wanted to make it look like he was a target for crime because he thought it would help his ratings. Mm-hmm. So he brought a gun into his hotel room, shot a wall, and then had the gun taken away. And then he blew up a firecracker afterwards. And he came and Columbo's like, no, you did this. And the guy's like, is that not a .22 caliber slug in that wall? Yes, it is. Yeah, Tom's like, yes, sir. Was that behind that chair? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Columbo's like, and then he goes, are you now going to take it to the lab and get it tested and make sure it came out of that gun? And Columbo says, no, sir. And it's like, what? He was already dead. Columbo already knew what the guy was up to, took the slug out of the wall while the guy was down voting.
Before it supposedly got shot.
Exactly.
So then Columbo was like, wow, this bullet has been there for longer than it was shot. How could that happen? You're going to jail. Like,
Exactly. All right, number 4, we have Swan Song with Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash. Good episode. Actually, really good episode.
Oh, yeah, really good episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool episode. It's fun.
Sorry, Brownie.
Brownie, it's okay. He's probably seen some criminal activity in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So Johnny Cash, actually a very sympathetic bad guy. His wife was really like blackmailing him, basically, that you're gonna sing these songs and do this act, and she wasn't letting him have any fun. He couldn't buy a nice car, couldn't live in a nice house. She was taking all the money and donating it to some charity that she was doing. And so, in a way, I mean, okay, obviously, he shouldn't have murdered her, but
yeah,
I mean, you can't go that far.
But he wasn't allowed to have any money at all.
He was in a bad position because he was an ex-con, and she was going to tell him, I'm going to put you back in jail
about all the bad things he did.
Exactly.
And it was bad. He
did
did some
good.
bad things in his past.
He did, and actually the ending was very sympathetic. It was actually really nice. What has happened? Columbo said something like,
Columbo was like, I know if I didn't catch you, you would have turned yourself in anyways. And then the guy was like, yeah, partner, I would have.
Yeah.
He's like,
well, yeah, I probably would have.
Yeah.
It was killing me inside.
Yeah.
So Johnny Cash, that's probably Johnny Cash. He was a big star. He's like, you make sure that you make me look like a really good guy in that episode, okay? I don't mind being a murderer, but make me look good.
Make me not look like cold-blooded.
Yeah, I'm not cold-blooded.
I'm a warm-blooded country singer.
I'm a country singer. Okay, top 3, Alex. And this is where we had a bit of an issue. Number 3 is called Publish or Perish. And this is an episode that I'd seen several times in the past. Alex had never seen it, but I really didn't think it was that great. I kind of dismissed it. And this time watching it, it's one of the ones that, and I read some comments from other reviewers, that this is one that kind of grows on you. It's super, super, tight. Dude, Columbo is very serious in this one. He's not playing the clown at all.
This is like peak Columbo. Columbo is not messing around in this episode at all.
Don't pretend like you don't see it.
So Columbo, just isn't messing around, pretty much. He goes straight to the point at all times. He's not clown Columbo. So we have to make, different gauges on clown and serious Columbo.
Yeah, right.
He was very much on the serious side in this episode. And it delivers one of the best Columbo episodes I've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, really, just a great, hard-hitting episode, man. It was yeah. Oh, and the bad guy, it's Jack Cassidy. He played in the first season. Remember he was the writing duo, the mystery writers. He was he was the bad guy, and this guy, he's so evil in this episode. You got to watch it just for that. He had this guy kill somebody for him, and then he kills that guy to shut him up. And he's sitting there in his car, he blew up. He put an explosive in the guy's car, and he's just sitting there waiting for the thing to go off. And the bomb goes off, and he's like, and he just drives off. It's so evil.
The guy just explodes.
The guy and he's laughing about it.
And the guy who exploded, I mean, he made bombs and stuff, but he seemed like a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
He's like, I mean, I'm willing. He's like, I'm willing to commit murder if you just publish my 10 ways to explode
That's
things.
right. That guy was like a crackpot.
Yeah, he was
He was He was like, he wanted to write a book called 10 Ways to
blow things up or something. And it was that book title alone is just hilarious.
Yeah, the book, and he's like, "Are you gonna publish my book?" And he's like, "We'll get around to it."
Wait, it was 10 ways to blow up things. That's what it was.
I know, it's so funny.
I mean, that's not even correct grammar.
I know, but that's what the guy was into.
Yeah.
All right, now the controversy. Number 2, my personal number 1, but I mean, this is one. This week we had. This week we couldn't come to an agreement. I loved A Friend Indeed the best, but however, I do concede that. The first number 1 is a great episode as well, and actually, if you look it up, most people like the one that we picked number 1 the best. But I love this one the best. A lot of people agree. It's called The Friend Indeed. Columbo, the assistant deputy commissioner, the deputy commissioner, his boss, the big boss of the police department, is the murderer, and Columbo has to very politely
Put him in jail.
Just put him in jail.
Put him in his own jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
So, it starts with Columbo. No, it does not start with Columbo. None of them start with Columbo. It starts with the guy, who not the murderer, but is a murderer, but the guy who murders his wife on accident.
That's right.
So he's calling the person. He's trying to call the deputy guy, because they're friends. And his wife answers, and he's like, "Oh crap!" So he hangs up, and it like pans to the side or whatever, and you see him walk over there, and he killed his wife. And obviously, you can see it in his face that he's not very happy about it. He's not cool about it. Like
yeah. He's
everyone
feeling
else.
guilty. He wants to confess.
Yeah, but he knows that if he confesses, his life is over.
It could be.
So
yeah.
he like goes to wherever the deputy guy is, and he's like, "Listen, I killed
It's
my
his
wife."
neighbor. They're neighbors.
Yeah,
The assistant police chief is his neighbor. Yeah.
and they're best friends. So he's like, "Listen, I killed my wife. Can you help me get out of it?" And the guy's like, "I'll see what I can do. I'm your best friend." So then he does. He like makes a whole alibi.
Yep. He
and
has him go to the
everything's
bar and
cool.
call home.
And
Yeah.
and then you're like, "Wow, seems like this deputy guy, while he doesn't really have the best intentions, he's helping his guy out with his
Right.
dead wife.
Right.
That's cool."
That's right.
Well, it's not cool, but you know what I'm saying. But then he kills his own wife because she's giving away her money too much.
Yeah.
It's not even that,
he's
like-
just a bad
Yeah,
person.
he's
just
a
really bad person.
Because
And-
it's not like his wife was like putting all of the money that they ever owned
Right.
into a trust or whatever,
Right.
like the guy, like the Johnny Cash episode was. She was just like giving some money to poor people.
That's right.
And that's like a good thing
Yeah,
to do.
but this guy was greedy. He wanted everything.
But this guy was
And
like,
so
"I want all of
there's
it."
a couple great lines where he tells the grief-stricken guy who accidentally killed his wife, like he's like, oh, the guy's like, I should have gone to the police. He goes, you did go to the police, my friend.
Yeah.
And then he goes, oh, I don't want to get involved. You're already involved. He tells him, like he's really a good evil guy,
Now, I wanna
really
say-
a bad guy.
My favorite part about this episode is that they try to pin the murders.
Yes, the
on-
ending is the best.
They try to pin the murders on this burglar guy
That's right.
who's been hidden in the neighborhood, but has never murdered anyone in the neighborhood.
That's right.
So, like, he didn't commit those two murders or
That's right.
burglar those houses.
That's right.
So Columbo's like talking to him. And he's like, and the guy gets up. He's like, I did not kill those people. You can stop coming to me. All these people.
Yeah.
And then Columbo's like, listen, alright, I know you didn't have anything to do those murders. And he's like, what do you want me here for?
Yeah.
And then Columbo was like, I just need help with a case or something like that.
That's right. You can help me out.
And he did. He helped him out a lot.
My favorite ending of all, and this is one of the reasons I love this episode so much. The commissioner guy is gonna frame him, the burglar. Because he's got the stuff from his neighbor's house, and he's gonna put it in this guy's apartment and make it look like this guy robbed everything and killed the lady. Well, it turns out Columbo rented that apartment and gave this guy a fake address. So this commissioner guy goes and plants the evidence, and at the end, they find the things, and Columbo goes, "Oh, wait a minute." He goes, "This is my underwear.
Yeah.
These are my shirts. That's my nephew. That's my niece." It's just so.
And
it's
like
great.
it's cool because like the burglar guy comes in, he's like, I don't even live here, buddy. And then the guy's like, and then the guy's like, what? So yeah.
And Columbo's trying to help him out. He's like, "Tell me, you better just stop right now. Admit you did it because it's gonna get worse for you." He's like, "What are you talking about? I got this guy. This guy's gonna go to prison."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, you can say goodbye to your badge, Columbo.
Exactly.
Anyways, this is where I keep my badge because it's my house. Yeah.
Exactly. And number one.
Number
it's
one, we have
called
the best episode of Columbo.
best episode, and a lot of people say the best of all time. Any Old Port in Storm.
Beautiful.
Great episode.
Now, before I start talking, right, I want to say Peter Falk himself, Columbo himself, says this is the best Columbo episode.
What does he know about Columbo?
I know, yeah. What's some
Great
loser?
episode. It's
Some
a
guy
great,
in our
it is a great
comment
episode.
section. Like,
Exactly.
who
I
knows?
know, right?
Yeah.
It's a really great episode. It's Columbo with the guy owns a winery, and him and his brother own it together. It was left by their dad.
Mm-hmm.
So the brother gets all the money in the winery, and this guy gets this guy got the money. The brother got the property, the winery.
Yeah.
And then the brother's like, "Dude, I need money," and he's like, "Well, too bad, so sad."
This is your third
And then
marriage.
he's like, he says, "Okay, well then I'll just sell everything."
He sees
and he's
it,
like,
he goes, I'm gonna sell it, and you can see the bad guy, his hopes and dreams, just
Exactly.
crushed at that one moment.
Exactly.
They crushed it so hard that he used their hands. That he used his hand. He picked up the statue and crushed his brother's
That's
skull.
right, but he didn't kill him.
He didn't kill him yet, cause he just like lied there, like just like ah. And the guy's like, guess he's dead. But then like he checked his pulse or whatever, and he wasn't dead.
So how did he kill him?
So then he just brings him into his wine cellar, ties him up. He turns off the air conditioner because no fresh air would go through.
That's right.
And then he just leaves to go out of town.
For a week, and then the guy's supposed to suffocate.
Yes,
and he tied him up. So the guy died by asphyxiation in this guy's wine cellar. And this guy loves wines. He's like a wine.
He's a wine
guy for
expert.
wine guys. Like he's an expert. Plus he loves these wines, and he had all these rare, expensive bottles in his wine cellar. Well, the week that he was gone was a record heat wave, and there was no air conditioning. So what happened?
So all of his wines were ruined.
That's right.
All of his wines got like overheated or whatever. So they weren't as good. But to the untrained person, also known as every other 7 billion people in the world, they wouldn't have noticed that the wine was bad.
Right.
Only he would. So that's how Columbo was like, gotcha, because they were at the restaurant. And Columbo was like, come to the restaurant. I'm sorry for like
accusing you.
Yeah, I'm sorry for accusing you. Come to the restaurant. I paid for your dinner. And they come to the restaurant. Columbo was ordering wines all night. And then the guy's like, ooh, Columbo. Ooh, my wine. Ooh, Columbo.
Yeah. Until they got to the dessert wine.
And then Columbo was like, I would like this wine. And then the wine guy was like, ho, 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 Columbo. the only wine of that wine is in my cellar. Well, I don't think he said that.
No,
but
he
he's
said,
like, I doubt you'll this. I guarantee
you can't afford that. You're not. The department's not going to pay for that wine. And he's like, no, I'm going to order it.
No, I'm going to order it. You deserve best. He brings out the wine, and the guy's like, oh my god, this is a treat, because he thinks that the wine's perfect. Because I mean, for all he knows, it is.
Right.
So then he pours the wine to the wife, pours the wine to him. Columbo tries it, and he's like, tastes like wine. And then the other girl tries it, and she's like, tastes like wine. And he tries it, and he goes, this is the worst wine I've ever had in my life.
It's ruined.
My wine is ruined. And he gets all like really upset. He's like, Columbo, I know we just had like a 3-course meal, but I request that you do not pay because I had one unsatisfying wine drink.
The wine was terrible. The wine was ruined. And why was it ruined is because Columbo stole it out of the guy's wine cellar.
Yeah.
And Columbo checked the weather and knew that it was a heat wave, and if the air conditioner was off, which Columbo figured that's how he killed him, the wines in that cellar would have been ruined, and they were. And the only guy who could tell was that guy because he really did know his wines. Mm-hmm. So
he's like, sir, that was from your wine cellar, and he's like, oh.
So then, therefore, all of his wines were ruined. Mm-hmm. So then the guy goes back and he's like, ruined, your wines are ruined, and he's like throwing them into the ocean and all this crap.
Yeah, so, he's really sad. That's literally his life's work.
Yeah, and then he got busted.
He's throwing them on the ocean, and.
Yeah, and I think Alex loved this episode because one of the main reasons because he was nice to Columbo. Yeah, he was. The bad guy was really nice. So Johnny Cash was nice to him too, but he was nice to Columbo. Actually, he was. He wasn't like this evil, mean guy. He was just some guy who loved wine and he killed his brother because he loved wine more than his brother.
Yeah, well, I mean that's not a very good thing to do.
Not a good thing to do. So all you kids out there, everybody there in TV land, if you love wine a lot and your brother doesn't love it as much as you do. That's no excuse to kill him and put him in a wine cellar for a week. Thank you. Public service announcement for today.
This is what Columbo teaches us. No killing your brother because you like wine more than him, and no being a blackmailer because that'll just ruin your life. That's just
Don't blackmail anybody.
Don't blackmail people or else you'll just die.
Yeah, if you blackmail a bad guy, he's gonna kill you. That's
just
the lesson.
Just so you know.
Exactly. So I think that wraps it up for us here.
Columbo at the end, he gives the guy dessert wine before he takes him to jail.
That's right.
He's like,
Columbo's like,
perfectly finishing
wine. Are you
wine.
gonna put me in cuffs, Columbo? And he's like,
sir.
No,
sir.
No, have a glass of wine.
Yeah. He's really chill, and like they drive past the winery.
Yeah.
And then he's like looking
on his way to jail for the rest of his life.
Yeah, final drink, a toast to myself or whatever, and that's the end of the episode.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
All right. Well,
episode.
Alex, I think that wraps it up. I think the best season so far. Everyone is good. Every single one really, really hard to tell. Mm-hmm. I mean, especially when you get to the top 3 or 4. I mean, especially the top three. In my opinion, it was really hard to pick out which one was the best. So I'm sure some people disagree with us. You know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. If you disagree, you're just probably incorrect. I don't know, man. I'm just kidding. Of course, I'm kidding.
Of course, he's kidding.
I would like to hear your opinions in the comments, though. We always like to read those.
Exactly. So we're gonna get back to work to review to watch season number 4 and put out another review.
It's only has 6 episodes, I'm pretty sure, right?
I think it's 6. Yeah. After this, they got out from the 8 episode format, and they get less and less because they made it more like a couple, 3-4 times a year or something like that. So there you go. All right, guys. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much for watching another episode. Where I'm happy to be doing this again.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yes. School started back up, so
Yeah.
we're going to be uploading slightly less frequently just because of how busy our schedules are going to start being.
Exactly.
I'm not going to be free every day, being a sophomore in high school, that sort of thing,
Congratulations.
Thank you. Anyways, like, subscribe, comment, I don't care. Good night.
Good night. Good.
Yes.
Good.